humfmradio.com. As you all know, we've been doing this program for the last 24 years, and next year will be our silver jubilee, and we're going to have some great parties. I'll tell you, we love to party in Houston, and we'll announce that towards the end of December, early January. But today, we have a great guest. The first hour, we have Gopaal Seyn. His name is Neil. I call him Neil, Gopal. I don't know, we have so many names for you.
Yeah.
But I think Gopal is the best name that I can get for you today.
Yeah.
And Gopal and I, we've actually known each other for 25 maybe years.
Yes.
But then I got busy in my practice, he got busy in his profession, his love, his art, his teaching, that after a long time, we've reconnected. And what a way to reconnect today in the studio. Because I haven't met him. He looks the same that I saw him many years ago. So he hasn't changed much at all. Except his reputation has really gone from there to there. You know what I'm trying to say? This young man has become a renowned contemporary artist in USA. To the point where in Houston, there was... there's an art that he has done, which is at the International Airport, Terminal D, Gate 15. Is that true, sir?
Correct.
Yes, Gate 15. And you see in Houston, at the airport, there are several artists who have put their paintings and their piece of art. And I'm just looking forward to, going to Terminal D and looking at that beautiful piece of art, which, by the way, I put on Facebook, and I know if you see it, you know what I'm talking about. It's a beautiful piece of art.
Thank you.
And so we're going to talk to Neil, and then we're going to show, this is, by the way, live on Facebook. So if you want to really check him out and check the paintings out, go to IAACGH.com or IAACGH on Facebook page, and you'll see us live. IAACGH is Indo-American Chamber of Commerce of Greater Houston. IACCGH. My dad used to always say, "Tera alphabet pe to gochi hai." So today we'll nikal diya gochi. IACCGH. Facebook पे जाएंगे ना अगर आप, तो आप देखेंगे कि हम लाइव दिखा रहे हैं गोपाल जी को, एंड उनकी जो आर्ट है जो लेके आए अपने साथ, वो दिखाएंगे. बट सबसे बड़ा जो सरप्राइज है आज, द बिगेस्ट सरप्राइज वी गोना हैव फॉर आवर लिसनर्स एंड आवर व्यूअर्स टुडे, दिनकर भाई, इज दैट he has consented. गोपाल भाई को पूछना पड़ता है, गोपाल जी थोड़ा ऐसे spontaneously कुछ sketch बनाएंगे, and he has agreed to do that. My bad that I didn't bring an easel that I was supposed to bring, but you know what? We are desi people. We're innovative. We can do it. जुगाड़ करते हैं. I put जुगाड़ करके. He's from Calcutta, I'm from Bombay. बोले तो जुगाड़ ही जुगाड़ है यार. So जुगाड़ करके अपन कुछ ना कुछ करके इनके हाथ के जो मैजिक है, जो ब्रश में इनकी जो टैलेंट निकलती है, वो देखेंगे आज. And I like a quotation from Gopaal himself. Gopaal, maybe I'm not going to say it correctly. You have said that you write poetries through your paintbrush. I think I got it wrong. Elaborate. What did he mean by that?
So basically, I say I write poetry through my brush because I think my art has a story. I don't just paint by itself. I let a story flow through my art. And Dr. Butcher, one thing,
Subodh.
Okay.
And if you're Bengali, Shubodh.
Shubodh.
That's what I love.
That's my grandfather's name.
Oh, really?
Awesome. But having said that, my art is, I don't know exactly what I'm doing. Like half of these pictures you see, I don't know at all what I'm doing. So when I do create a painting, I let my how would I say, spirituality drive me through.
Yeah.
The cosmic energy. That's why I paint every day at 4:30 in the morning. You may not know.
No,
I wake up every day at 4:30 in the morning, and I do a prayer, like Surya Mantra.
Right.
I do, and then I talk to my mom for half an hour because I feel I get all my creation through my mom.
She is your inspiration?
Yes, absolutely.
Your mom is alive?
Yes.
Okay, good. In Calcutta or here?
Calcutta.
Thank God.
So I call
and
her at 4:30.
And you call her 4:30. उधर तो 4:30 चाय पी रहे हैं.
Yeah, perfect time.
And what is that called? गोलगप्पे को क्या कहते हैं आप खा रहे होंगे?
Puchka.
पुचका खा रहे हैं. There you go. Maybe not.
So I take her blessing and then I get started.
Okay.
And what allows is that I believe in creative energy flowing through around. Okay.
That is so
and I think there are great artists all over the world, and I have respect for a lot of artists, and their energies are around. You have to channelize that energy through you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a process which I followed like many years ago, and I've got better at it.
Wow.
It is a process, like, you know, like I do every day. I meditate for 40 minutes in the morning. Okay, so after meditation, after doing all that, I meditate and then I start painting.
That's amazing.
It allows me.
It's a daily routine. You paint
Yes,
every day.
daily routine.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I paint.
How young were you when you started this?
So I started like, you know, 4 or 5 years old, and again, you know, I think Bengal is known for great artists.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
So it was like, okay, he is another artist. Okay, ठीक है, चलो. But you know, we never take it like parents as always like पढ़ाई करो, like, you know, like what
Yeah.
what you.
Yeah, this
Robert
is just
Williams.
your hobby.
Yeah,
and
you
just
cannot feed yourself.
Cricket मत खेलो.
क्रिकेट मत खेलो, नहीं
विराट
तो
कोहली सब लोग नहीं है.
Exactly.
Yeah.
वो भिखारी मरोगे. so that how it was, and I did my regular studies and all that. But going back to what I'm saying is that I let that kind of that universal intelligence go through me.
That's
I
amazing.
Channelize it.
And Smriti asked a beautiful question. You started at age 4. Obviously, you went to elementary, middle, high school, as we call it now.
Correct.
And in India, just school, right? At that time, you know, while your teacher is teaching you chemistry, were you doodling with those
Oh, yeah.
pens and
100%,
pencils
100%,
and doing,
Yeah.
you know, sketches with...
Yeah, I
you
would
know,
be thrown out of the class so many times
Yeah,
because of
but
that.
they liked your art. They must have said, "Isko
Yes.
भाग तो भगा दिया, लेकिन look at his art."
Yeah. So
Right?
yeah, I mean, you know, you go through that phase and you feel like कुछ बनेगा नहीं
Yes.
इससे, माने ये बेकार का.
No, that's not true, obviously. Let's go back to even... So where were you born?
So I was born in Kolkata.
Kolkata, okay.
Yeah, all my life I was in Kolkata out there. Like, you know, I went to St. Joseph's and Xavier's. I was okay in studies. Never great in studies, but okay in studies. But all my cousins and brothers and sisters, they were very, very good in studies.
Okay.
You know, our whole family, like my just to give you an idea, like my uncle is the Director General of Police, and then he became the Director General of Civil Rights. My other uncle is the Major General in the Army. My father was like a big shot at Ashia Brown Brewery. So everybody was doing exceedingly well,
Right.
and all my cousins. And there I felt like, God, you didn't give me anything. And I always used to cry to God, like, you know, all of these are so talented. And every time, like, they would do good in the exams, I'll have a bad time.
Was there another artist in your family?
Yeah, that's...
I was just wondering. I mean, you named so many other professions.
No one got that...
Talent.
Talent of, you know...
Nobody got it. And then...
No one got it.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
So you were exceptional. I mean,
Exceptional.
you know,
So that's
you
good.
can look at it like that, right?
So as you were growing up, did you have, you know, like a mentor? You know, again in Bengal, there was Rabindranath Tagore is a
Correct.
mentor to so many people for so many different things, right?
Exactly.
And you always start with that great man. Did you have a mentor? Did you look up to someone and said, "यार ये क्या art करते हैं? काश कि मैं एक दिन ऐसे हो जाऊं." Did you ever have that?
So yes,
Or to extrapolate that, was there some inspiration in the family who was a painter? It doesn't look like they've all DIGs
nobody close by was artist.
Okay.
But there are few artists like Bikash Bhattacharya. There was a very well-known artist in West Bengal at that time, and then Parish Maiti. They came much later,
Okay.
I would say. And then Prakash Karmakar. There was few great. Even I was very, very moved by M.F. Hussain.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but that even it at a much later stage. Let's
yeah.
be honest.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I tried to kind of absorb the whole instinct of art, and I really was inspired by these artists, and I always wanted to kind of create something different, something unique, something
Right.
original of my own.
Right.
And I always felt like, you know, I feel their energy through me,
Yeah.
that I can do it. And going back in the future, when I started doing all of this, I realized like art is not something you know beforehand. If you know beforehand what you're doing, then to me is that's
It's
not
not
art.
art.
you should let your kind of instinct keep going.
Yeah. Did you, as you were growing and then you picked up the pencils or brushes,
Correct.
ever think that this would become your profession? Or did you, in the beginning,
Never,
always
never,
thought it was
never.
a hobby?
Never ever thought.
Yeah, remember one thing. M.F. Hussain himself used to be painting posters in the billboards, right? And then someone bought it and they realized, oh my God, this guy has such a potential. And then look at, by the way, when in Calcutta, I was in Calcutta watching a cricket game.
Correct.
I want to bring art back into this thing.
Horace Mighty was painting.
And no, actually what happened was we went to a restaurant, a good friend of ours took us to Naya Andaz, it was called. Naya Azad. Azad something. Something Azad, okay? Dhaba. And we went there and we were eating and I looked at the wall and there was a M.F. Hussain painting. Correct me, what is that lady? The beautiful lady.
Oh, yeah, Madhuri Dixit.
Yes,
painting.
but he used to call it
Gajagamini.
Gajugamani. That's what was painted. And I looked at my friend who brought me. He said, yes. I was waiting when you were going to ask me what is that painting. This is MF used to come here. He would sit. It's a little dhaba. He would sit out there, MF Hussain, and he'd just go up to there and put some strokes and then come back next day and
I
finish.
had the pleasure of serving MF Hussain because I don't know, in my
wow.
past life,
Huh.
I used to work for Intercontinental Hotels Group.
Okay.
And first, when I graduated, after doing my bachelor's,
Right.
I did my hotel management.
Right. I remember you should travel a lot. I
Yes,
remember that.
extremely. And I started my first job in Amber restaurant,
Okay.
which is very well known. And there was a Sadaji who used to make the best kebabs.
And this is where now?
This is in Calcutta.
Okay.
Calcutta. And MF Hussain used to frequent us.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I would take the pleasure of saying, hey, please, mere ko thoda serve karne do.
Thoda sa
At
serve
least,
karne
and
do.
he would come bare feet.
But why
as you
not?
know.
Yes.
And it was an honor and privilege to
Yes.
kind of see him close. And I would like stare at him, like think, wow, if I could touch his hands and feet, kind of.
And you know why I bring that name?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to compare you with him, but sometime when I look at that art and when I see your freehand art, the way you do it, it just brings me to think that, oh my God, this guy has
So a lot of
little
people
bit
tells
of
me that.
MF. No, and I'm not an artist. I can talk on the mic, but I cannot. You give me a paintbrush, everyone will run away because I'll do something really bad, right? But when I saw this, my eyes can see it, and I've been watching your art for a long time.
Right.
Because you and we communicate.
Correct.
You have an art gallery, etc. We'll talk about that. And every time I see, I said, यार ये गोपाल का इसमें जो है ना, MF का बहुत ही influence है. आपको influence था कि ये naturally आ गया?
Naturally, I have, but I think when you think about a person, I am a believer, and you will also agree that you become what you think of all day long.
Yes.
So when you're thinking of a person as an artist and you're letting his creative energy channelize through you,
Right.
somehow it will kind of get in your It has
Folks, you're listening to Open Forum. What a pleasure it is for Smriti, Dinkar and I to have Gopal. It's very difficult to get Gopal for an interview, and I'm not going to tell you how much I had to twist his arms to get him here. Even till this morning, he was like, मैं आऊँ नहीं आऊँ, मेरी गाड़ी में पेट्रोल नहीं है, वो हवा नहीं है कार में. मैं कहा भाई मेरे को थोड़ा एक्सक्यूज कम दे. ऐसे एक्सक्यूज हमने बहुत सुने हुए हैं. Then he said, नहीं मैं आता हूँ यार, आता हूँ. Then he was the first guy to be here, which I really appreciate. I also want to appreciate Miss Das, Shaum Datta. I always mess up the Bengali names. Shubodh mera naam hai. Shaum Datta, who came here to do live Facebook. And if you want to see the studio and see the art that we're going to display, go on IACCGH on Facebook. Click on that, and you're going to see this lovely conversation. If you want to join in the conversation, our number is 1-888-749-1035. 1-888-749-1035.
That's correct.
35.
So I know you paint, and I see a lot of colors here. So a lot of people pick up colors with different emotions they attribute to. Is there something like that you do too? There's certain emotions which bring out those colors?
No, so I can literally say, like when I'm doing obviously these sketches which I do every day, I don't even think about the colors.
Okay.
I kind of pick up colors as it comes, as if like there's a mentor who's sitting inside me who's telling me,
Wow.
okay, Gopal, pick up red, blue. And I was, okay, put some red in it. So somebody, like, just like how I teach my kids, the same way some other mentor of mine
telling you.
under me telling me.
In the brain, yeah.
Interesting.
So, and to extrapolate to that, on that question, do you just close your eyes and you can visualize a tree or an animal and then it comes to life? Or does it, because what I see most of the artists is such an effortless
I mean, it's like a free
stroke
flow,
of a
right?
brush.
Yeah.
And I've seen people transform nothing into something great.
Correct.
Is that something that you just close your eyes and visualize and then you transform it? Or does it really take a little more effort than that?
So you are sometimes in a trance format. When you're doing something like that, you're in a trance.
Right.
And yes, I'm not thinking about a tree. I would start drawing it, and automatically I will feel like I'm seeing like a face coming in. So I will kind of expand on that. I'll keep on expanding. And then say, okay, I can see a woman coming in. So half of the times I don't know what I'm drawing, as I said. And people will see a lot more in that artwork than I have seen. Because I have done it in a very semi-conscious state.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times I am not even aware of what's going on.
Wow. And then when the end result comes, you're in awe of yourself sometimes?
Yes, absolutely.
यार ये मैंने
That-
क्या
that,
किया?
yes.
है ना?
वो बहुत होता है.
को होता है क्योंकि कोई गाना गाता है, for example,
Right.
and when they finish their song, they themselves know, man, I did really well today. And some days they're like, ये तो पोपट हो गया, Things like that happen. So I bet in your profession,
Absolutely
in your
it happens.
artistic capabilities and capacity, you do go through that. You
Yes.
sleep well at night, and the next morning, let me do one more 4:30 in the morning, and then you're doing your, puja and everything. That is amazing. It's such an inspiration to other people who are listening to us, right? Now, you did go into hotel management, and I know when I first we knew each other, you used to travel a lot.
Correct.
Right? When did that stop and you became a full-time artist and then a full-time teacher of art?
So when I was traveling,
Yeah.
180 nights a year, 25 years ago,
I remember.
perfectly you said it right
Yes.
time, I started teaching also. I was teaching then also. I started teaching slowly because, I always wanted to kind of share my talent, my energy, my creative passion to these kids. One thing I want to say to you, Subodh, like, if you go to my house, I have a temple, small temple where I worship, and there's a huge mission statement where I said, I choose to make a difference in the life of people I come across by helping them spiritually, mentally, and creatively.
Kya baat. Very nice. Very nice.
And that applies to the kids, the 250 kids I teach every
So for
every
all
week.
our listeners, can you let us know where you teach?
So I have my own academy. It's called the Redbluearts Academy, which is in Sugarland. It's on
Okay.
Industrial Boulevard, just opposite Slumberjay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
Why
it's-
red? Why red, blue?
So
Red, white, and blue.
Red. My wife's name is Lali.
Kya
so
baat hai?
Lal.
Kya baat hai?
So
Okay.
Lal, and blue is Neil.
Okay.
That's
Kya
it.
baat
The
hai?
Red Blue Arts. So
Fantastic.
Oh, nice.
And plus, it's the primary colors. So
It
that's
is.
how I
Okay,
started.
for in your own thing,
Yes.
yeah.
So I started doing that, and I just didn't want to die with the music inside. I was loving my job. I traveled, but I think the biggest enemy of great is good. So I was having a good life. I was having traveling extensively, eating, drinking, having fun. But I said, I have a purpose to do.
Yeah.
So I have to. I took my permission of my wife. I have a loving wife who was very understanding, who allowed me to do it. So I left my cushy job, and here I am. I started teaching. I was teaching actually, and I built up on the teaching a little bit more.
Like a full-time
and I
now.
became a professional artist from then. So I started in 2016, and then only I'm doing it. But I'm teaching for 25 years, and you'll be.
Wow.
In the last 25 years, I've never missed a class, never ever missed
Really?
a class, and never been late to my class. I drive
quite
to
a
the
thing to
parking
say.
lot 30 minutes before and wait there so that I'm on a bad construction day or a bad accident day, I'm still on time.
Shows a lot of commitment.
Yeah, well, even today he said 4 o'clock.
4
Oh my God, I'll have to leave at 3:50.
He was
Maine
there
ka,
at
bhai,
3:45
3:50.
actually, yeah.
But then he was right. There's so much
Yeah.
traffic on 59. I had to go in the inner roads, and I'm like, chalo. He was right. मेरी अभी इधर होने वाली है. घंटी बजने वाली है.
I know art is so personal, and once, like how you're saying that you just draw this, you paint this, and people interpret it very differently.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when people are interpreting it, and it's so personal that you know, if I look at this, I can find several things which are in tune with me, or Subodh can, or Dinkar can.
And we're going to play that game,
And
Smriti. We're going to see
I
what
know,
you
but
think and what I think and what Dinkar thinks.
But
And then
what's-
what Miss Das sitting behind the camera thinks. Oh.
So I want to ask you, when people come and look at it and sometimes comment, or you ask, does any one of them actually resonate with what you really think of it?
Yes, they do. And again, you rightly said, art is very people-centric, and everybody has their own choices, but it's like modern poetry. You asked me to start that, like, you know, my art is a poetry, I said, but it's like modern poetry. So if you read modern poetry, you will read it from what you're going in your life, and it will touch you in a different way, whereas she is having a different kind of a life, and it will touch her in a very different way. And that's what I want. I want every audience to look at my art in their own perspective way. That's why I don't give too much of explanation. I let them take over.
But if you ask them and when they take over, what my question was, do you feel that some of it is really what you've drawn, overlapping with your thoughts?
Absolutely,
Okay,
it does. And I don't do, like, you know, complete abstractness. People who draw just lines and for them, yes, there could be so many interpretation. Mine, you can pretty much boil down to, like, the painting you saw at the airport. I don't know whether you can boil down what's going on and all that. So I try to, like, you know, when you do a painting for, like, you know, public places or open, like, you know, you're doing for the Aam Aadmi, I try to make it more basic. Whereas when I'm doing for my collectors, I try to make it very specific, because I know that person, I interview them. So for instance, I do a customized painting for you. I'll interview you. I'll try to find out what you like, what you don't like, and I will create a painting which is close to your art.
Right. But do you then paint on a canvas and then it's mounted, or do you actually do a mural-like painting?
I never do murals. I do it on sketches. I do the sketch and then I go to canvases.
And then, so for a layperson like me who doesn't know much art, tell us and our audience the different kinds of, like, there are watercolors, there are other kind of what are they called? Acrylic type. Just give us a little, some people just do pencil.
Sketching.
So people start off with, like, you know, especially I can speak for my kids, like, you know, how they start off. They start off with, like, color pencils and markers, and then you go into watercolor.
At what age again?
At the age of 5.
5. Wow.
So you start the classes you take are like kids are 5 and over.
Yeah, so this is the beauty of my class. In a class, there is around 25 odd people in my class, and they could be aged from 5 years to 60 years.
How do you know I'm 60 years? Hey, bhai.
Amazing.
I'm just kidding.
No, it's amazing. I mean, like, people for different ages sitting there and, like, following what he's trying to teach.
So what it does is that
grasp.
I created this, and I'm a believer. By now you know, like, I'm a believer of energy. So if you create that creative energy, and there's, like, it, and nobody's talking, and there's a 5-year-old kid and there's a 6-year-old person there, and everybody is doing their own thing, and every kid is doing different. Somebody is doing pencil, somebody is doing acrylic, somebody is doing watercolor, somebody is doing sketching, somebody is doing pastel.
Crayons or whatever.
So everybody is doing different, everybody doing different subjects. And I am like that, like the chess player, just walking around and I'm telling them to do. And that's what I do. And I'm in a kind of a zone then.
Right.
So I kind of create.
But how again, what I have difficulty understanding is, how do you teach someone art? Doesn't it come inherently?
It does, but then you have to, in the beginning, you have to give them the basic grammar. So I'm teaching them their foundation, and then I let them explore.
So what's foundation for somebody like layperson like me? I'm like Subodh in that matter. I am not a great painter. I'm not that creative. Yeah, I can play with colors.
It's like in simple.
What would you do to somebody like
other subjects I'll talk about, like in a basic grammar. You're teaching the alphabets. You're teaching the grammar of it. If I'm doing maths, if you say, I'm teaching them subtraction, addition. So similarly in art, there are certain things. I have these instructional things which I give them, which I created on my own, and I make them follow. So I'm in the process of hopefully writing a book. In a few years, about how to make the best out of it. Everybody wants their kid to do well in art, but they don't know where to start. And I think I can do up to so much. I've taught over 5,000 kids in the last 25 years, and hopefully till the last day I will keep on teaching people.
Right.
But I think there's so many more.
So
to teach.
the students that you've taught so far, has anyone gone up to great levels that you say that, oh my God, I'm so proud of those guys?
Oh yeah. They've won a lot of awards, and they've got like national awards and all of that. Yes, and the beauty of it, I have people who've been with me for 8, 10, 12, 13 years. We've started at the age of 5. So like a few days ago, a lady came and said, not lady, I said like a girl said like, Mr. Neil, they all call me Mr. Neil. I will be leaving your classes. I'm like, why? What happened? Anything went wrong? Did I tell you anything? He said, no, I'm going to medical college. So she started at the age of 5.
Right.
And so many years, like 12 or 13 years have gone by, and I don't even realize that. So my classes are all about building relation with kids. It's like I try to find out every kid is innately creative in their own ways, and I try to find out what can I do to motivate them a little bit more, because everybody gets motivated in a different way, and God has blessed me. Again, it's a blessing of God.
I would love to hear what your mom has to say about it, since you she is your inspiration.
My
you talk to her
mom is
every
a great
day.
fan of mine.
Right.
What does she say?
talk to
Like
her
some of
every
her
day.
words I'd love to hear. Like,
She said, "I'm blessed to have you as my son."
There you
And
go.
that's sweet. That's very
and
sweet.
she's like always like this whole thing happened, and I want to say one thing to IACCGH, Jagdeep Ahluwalia. He's been a pioneer in my life. He's really helped me a lot of ways. Like when Mayor Turner was taking us for the trade mission, he kind of suggested my name.
Oh, very
from
good.
And a good friend was Anupam also, who was the counselor at that time, and Jagdeep was the first one who got me there, and George, who's part of the Houston, he is the one who brought me there. And then Jagdeep pushed like Neil, you need to do this, that. So he has really helped me. He's a genius, marketing genius, I would say. And he has always helped me a lot, and I'm really, really indebted to that man for everything he has done for me.
Fantastic.
Even like 5 years ago, Mayor Turner loved my work, which I did it. I don't know whether you know, like in Mumbai, I went to Mumbai and
With them?
the Taj, Taj Intercontinental. I did a live painting out there, and now this painting is in a well-known art gallery in there.
Wow.
And Mayor at that point said, "Gopal, I love your work. I want your painting to be at the airport."
There you go.
That's
Okay.
very-
And it was very exciting. I'm like, wow. But I realized Mayor cannot make that call, because airport system is completely different
Yes.
from
comes
the
under
mayor.
different jurisdictions.
Right.
Yeah.
So that didn't go through. And the reason I'm telling you this story is that I told my mom said, this is happening. And then things were forgotten 5 years. But every day when I talked to my mom, she said, when is the airport coming?
That is the airport picture.
So that is called bhakti yoga to us, like I believe in. That, if you truly, truly believe in something, she taught me that if you don't give up on anything, things gonna fall in place. How? Don't know. Don't question.
Just
Don't
have
question.
faith.
Let it happen.
Just
And
have
and it's amazing. You say 5 years ago, you all had this discussion with the mayor, and then it kind of fell through, and you were like, "Kabhi hoga." But I bet, knowing IACCGH and knowing Jagdeep Ahluwalia well, he probably never gave up. He must have.
He never gave
He
up.
must have. वो चाबी बोलता, "Hey भाई, Turner साहब, कभी की turn करेंगे आप?"
And
Eventually it happened. So the authority. Then what happened? There were 300 other artists that they were looking at. Tell us the story. I love that story.
So Jagdeep told me, like, why don't you write to them again, mayor? And I wrote a beautiful letter to the mayor, and mayor was to Jagdeep actually, and Jagdeep passed it on to the mayor, Turner, Andy, and few other people, George, everybody in the airport system, and they read it up, and a lady from the airport called me. I can't remember the name. She called me and said, like, I heard about this and all that, but we have a whole proposal system you have to go through.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know that, like, if you can at least give me a chance to put my proposal through, because even then they have a whole 9 years, which takes for a few years.
I bet.
I'm like, can you help me expedite that? If I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. Like, I don't expect any special favors, but at least if you can give me, like,
Yes.
in
process
Bengali
to
we
go.
said,
Yeah.
take, no take, ekbar to see. So I'm like, at least please look at my work.
Wonderful.
So I had the pleasure of meeting with the curator, the chief curator who's in charge of Alton Dulani. He was an amazing guy. He said, come over to the airport. He took me all around airport and he said, send me some sketches.
Yeah.
So I sent him some sketches and he loved them. He said, like, these are amazing because he said, like, okay, send me some proposals. So I sent, like, proposal. He said, like, give me some time.
Proposal meaning budget or proposal meaning?
Yes,
how
budget
you-
as
okay.
well as, like,
Gotcha.
what I'm going to do,
Yeah.
how you going to do it, what is my whole objective, what is my strategy, I'm going to do this painting, what will envision. And so I had done some of that. And so obviously, like, going through him really helped the process.
Absolutely.
But again, going back to Jagdeep made it all happen.
Right,
If it
right.
was not
Well,
for ICG.
that's amazing. Tell us about that art that you put at Terminal D. How big is it? What did you use? And what were you thinking? How long did it take? Is it that prayer every morning kept going on and on and on? And do you have this studio in your room that you painted this one?
So this-
Or did you do it at your... So many questions. Let's see how we can segue
I've
from
never,
one to the
I'll
other.
be honest with you, I've never done a painting this size. So when you're
How big is
dealing,
What is the size of that?
this is 15 feet by 6
Oi,
feet.
that big?
Yes.
On the picture, it doesn't look that big. Okay, 15 by 6.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. And is it bang opposite when you come out of
Terminal
of gate
D15.
15?
D15, yes.
Gate 15, you come
So
out.
where, like, Emirates, Qatar,
Yeah.
Air France,
Right.
everything, like,
Yeah.
goes from there.
Oh, wow.
This is like the beautiful,
So it's-
like, right in the middle. So they created.
So it's the departures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
International departure?
Gotcha.
So that time I feel like departure is the perfect area because
Beautiful time.
1.5 hours you have nothing to do but to stare at the walls. So I have given them something to look at. So anyway, but they created the wall for me.
Lovely.
So that wall was not even there.
Yeah.
So when Alton showed me that, this is because they used to have the British lounge there.
Okay.
So they have taken that out and they created that wall out there. And they've opened that. You'll be amazed right now.
Yes.
So if you go to that area, it's all open. And so you cannot miss that painting
Yes.
out there. So anyway, like, so I think a lot of spirituality and cosmic energy goes into. So I followed that path when I was doing a painting because to conceptualize a painting of that size is very, very difficult.
I can imagine.
Because, think of that. You're writing in a small area. Suddenly I give
Right.
you like a whole room to write.
Yeah.
You don't know how big your sizes will be.
Yeah.
So putting the things in perspective is scalability becomes very difficult. You don't know where to start,
Yeah.
how big it will be, what angle will be. I knew the sketches, but I didn't know where to start from. And literally that day, the first day where the real art is done, I started through the whole thing which I talked to you about, like the meditation
Yes,
and
of
worshiping and praying. And then I got started. Trust me, after it was like 6 o'clock I started, I would say, after all of that. I looked at my watch. It was 8:30 in the evening.
Wow.
So basically 14.5 hours have gone by and I didn't even realize times.
This was in the studio though, you do it.
So what I did was, okay, good point. So this picture cannot be done. So I had 3 canvases, which makes into it.
Okay.
So it's like 6 feet by 5 feet.
Okay.
Okay, 3 of them.
Times 3, yeah.
Yeah. So I put it in the garage. So I had one of my gentlemen come in and kind of
Oh my
put
God.
plastic all over the garage. Then my wife
Yeah.
would kill me. If
I was
it's-
going to say, what did Miss Lali say?
Yeah, yeah. So
And
she
she
was
said,
in
6
India.
baje subah utha, 8:30
She was not there. She was in India.
She was in India. Good time.
So anyway, so I put that, I moved the cars and I put the canvases and I started there itself. So that only, because it won't fit in my studio, that bigger painting.
Yes.
So I started like sketching and all that. And then once I did the drawing, I'm like, wow. Like you said,
Yes.
I had that wow moment, aha moment, like, oh my
You
God.
finished that whole thing on one go?
So the drawing.
The finisher, yeah.
So see, the rest of it is not that difficult.
Yeah.
It's like putting everything in place. That is the most.
So the
important.
drawing you do with what?
Just charcoal.
Charcoal.
Correct.
And there is, so when you started that, there is no return. That you can't change anything. Can you erase and change? No.
You can, but
It smudges
again,
the-
yes, smudges it.
It smudges the whole thing.
So you have to
That is
be
amazing.
in a meditative state to
Absolutely,
do that.
absolutely. Could
That
you?
is charcoal. I was just
that's
trying to see the
char-
pictures.
The can you? I know people cannot visualize it. I've seen it. Can you describe? Because now people are going to, when they go into D15 in that area, they're all going to be looking for Gopaal Seyn's piece of art there. Okay, can you
Is
give
there a
us?
way of showing that art? It's
Oh, yes,
not.
there is. We can show it on this
Yes.
camera.
Yeah,
We'll have to
but-
just show it. But, I put it on Facebook if someone wants to
Yeah, but
see it on.
if I can explain better, or people can follow me better, like, you know.
Absolutely, and we are going to show that piece of art like right now. Here it is.
Yes. So if you look at the art from left, so what I've done is that peace through global music, okay, or world music. So if you can see, like on the left side, I have somebody playing it's a country music. On the top, you can see like a jazz player. On the right, you can see like a rock and pop. You can
Guitar.
see like somebody playing the drums.
yeah.
On the bottom middle, you will see like, you know, somebody, the calypso music, like, you know, Caribbean music. You can see on the top, you can see a lady having dancing to some Western music. You can see like a Indian Bharatanatyam kind of a style going on in the middle. I have the tabla player all the way on the right side. I have a man playing the mandolin. It's like a bluegrass music, or you can say Spanish folk music. And then you have the the Japanese music all the way in the corner.
Wow.
So all of those music put together, and you've seen that I've connected the thing. It's like the East and the West as harmoniously playing together.
Right.
And inside you will see the Texan bull as well as the rodeo horse, as you can see right in the middle. And then you have the how would I say, the world peace thing, the dove flying
I
there
saw
with,
that,
with the
yeah.
olive branch, which has been our global sign for peace.
Wow. So how on earth did you sleep and say, this is what I'm going to do? Did you just pray and think? Because if you look at it, it has so many pieces all put together. It's like a puzzle, that a jigsaw that you put together.
Subodh, it doesn't happen unless the blessing of God. That's
Right.
what I'm saying.
Right. I'm saying you know, you did the cowboy-like thing, and then suddenly you went to the tabla guy.
Okay.
I mean, how? There's no transition. You
And
did it,
I'm
and then you-
I'm excited out there. If you look at the tabla guy, you can't make out.
No.
I have put Rabindranath's writings all over, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high.
That's amazing.
You can see in the arm, there's some, like I put in paper, you can't read it.
No, you
and I
can't.
put in the Bengali alphabet Ka, which means like the first word or alphabet of Bengali. So it's a creation. I use Ka as my signature style, which I feel anything to create is the first alphabet. Like every kid learns the A for apple. Similarly, Ka is the first word we learn.
Wow.
And I think that is the beginning of creation to me.
And what's on top out there? Like a USI? Ulta
So
S?
that's music. MUSIC.
I get
So people love looking at those kind of things and saying, "What is that?" And one
That's
thing
exactly got my eye. I'm like, what is that? Now I see
and
it.
you'll be blown away with this one. All the way on the right side, I put in a clock. Have you seen like an extended clock? If you go further down,
Yeah.
extended clock.
So there.
And time is the essence. When we are global travelers, that is what we are going through so fast.
Yeah.
Because you get to a different city and you're like, oh, what time is it? I have no idea. You're in a different country. You're totally
Different-
lost.
the time
of time.
changes, yeah.
The time changes.
Right.
So I felt like, that's why I gave that elongated version of a clock.
So Gopal, when I saw this and I expanded to see, I pretty much thought of what you're thinking. I saw the guitar. There's like a guitar right in the center towards the left, actually, and then going to the center. I saw the dove, and I knew this is something about world peace for sure. I saw I thought it was Zakir Hussain Jr.
Yes, it's
that
actually
playing his
I was
hair.
thinking of Zakir like when I was doing it.
His hair, and of course Rabindranath's famous poem. I didn't realize that, but now that you mention, I see that. And but all these are men. There's no woman in this.
Yeah,
Oh, there is.
There is.
Yeah.
Oh, the
that
one on
lady,
top there.
the
Yes, looking on
Japanese
top.
lady.
Yes, I see it
The
now.
lady was dancing out there. This lady is dancing.
Right.
The Indian.
So the reason I ask you is, when MF Hussain, look at me, I'm comparing you now with his. When he used to always have these ladies as his inspiration. You know, Madhuri Dixit, and there were so many others. You will not believe it, but in this studio where you're sitting out here, one of the females, I forget her name, were you there for that interview?
Who?
She and MF were darn good friends, and she actually hung around with him for 8 years. She was sitting right there. She wrote a book about me and MF Hussain. And I asked her the same question. I said, Madam, do you realize in a lot of his paintings we see females? And she said, yes, he was always inspired by the beauty of a woman. You have any inspiration like that? A beauty of a woman, the word peace, instruments, people. You talked about cowboys, you talked about doves. What is it that you focus a lot on, and then it comes out, and then of course it elaborates
So
into others?
here it was a theme. So I
Okay.
knew exactly what I was doing.
I see.
Unlike most of my paintings.
So
which
you
I
had
do.
a visual. This
Yeah,
thing
because
of
you know
like the
that's
theme
because you
at the
know
airport.
yeah because
It's an international airport, so you
Yeah,
got
I'll
it.
And
tell
he's
you.
talking
What-
about time and different places.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, Alton said, hey,
countries
you're doing
and-
it for the public.
Yeah.
So
Right.
be careful.
Yeah.
You cannot put this, that. You
Yeah.
have to be careful.
Yeah.
You have to be respectful of
right.
anybody and everybody out there. So I had to be very careful of what.
And you were. It looks
Yes,
beautiful.
yes.
Yeah.
But when going back to your inspiration, you're
Yeah.
saying like, you know, yes, I'm inspired by obviously beauty. Like, you know, most of my art is about women.
Okay.
99.9% of my art is women. Very few men I draw.
Yes.
So here I have.
This
but,
is different.
But I do a lot of, one of my biggest creation is mother and kid.
Beautiful.
So I have plenty of these, like, you know, because I wanted to show the unconditional love of a mother. I think
Yeah.
nothing in this
Compares.
world compares to the unconditional love of a mother.
Right.
And I have been blessed to have a wonderful mother and who has been a great inspiration. And I'm always trying to create that. I don't know what happens. As you said, like, you know, when I'm painting,
Yes.
I don't know, and I feel like some kind of a creation of mother comes in or a woman comes in. Because I do like duality of emotions, because it's like I would show like one side she's happy, one side she's sad.
Right.
And we are always in a social minding, we are trying to hide our deeper innermost emotions sometimes.
Right.
So I try to show that.
And you know, consistently, that it could be something else, but like consistently, he's been talking about creation. He keeps talking about, with so many of his themes about creation, and just the mother created the child, the way it is. I mean, it's such a recurrent thing
Yes,
with what
exactly.
you talk and how your emotions
I'm
come
sorry
out.
for your
No,
child.
that's
And so many
perfectly
of
okay.
the others, like Mother and Child, Mary and Jesus,
Correct.
and others, you know, even MF has done so many of those.
Definitely.
Mother Teresa, for example, was one of his inspirations.
Right.
So it's amazing, again, when I see MF and when I see yours, there's such an
Thank you,
overlap
thank you.
out there, which I don't know.
You
a
made
lot of
my
other-
day. So
Well,
thank
it's
you.
and I'm very honest about that. Fantastic.
Thank you.
If anyone out there in Houston, obviously there are so many people who like to do their own private painting. Someone wants maybe the mother's painting and stuff, a human being thing. Do you do those? Do you get
So
permission to do those? Are you willing to do those? If someone out there says, hey, you know what, Gopal,
Can I say something?
my dad passed away 10 years ago and I'd like his, not the mural, because you don't, his canvas mounted.
Yeah. So one thing I would want to point out, and may sound, and that's what collectors tell me, that my art brings prosperity to them. People have approached me and said, since I bought your painting, and then I have become like, you know, I'm doing better than ever in my business, in my work, and they would come back and buy more of my art. I don't know what it is, maybe that spiritual thing which I kind of build into that. But as far as doing painting for like somebody's mother, I don't do portraits. I had the pleasure of doing painting for George Bush Sr. I don't know whether you've done. It's the painting is in Neil Bush's house.
Oh, wow.
Again, IACCGH did a whole kind of a program on it on President's Day, and we presented to Neil Bush on that. I've done painting for Bob McNair, the Texan owner.
yes.
Yep.
That's in the Texan Museum.
But what did you paint for them?
His face.
His face.
His
okay.
face. Okay.
But I should not be sounding it like that. that is not my forte.
Okay.
I do it only for very
Few people.
exactly, like one of a kind or a classic. But I don't do. I am a contemporary artist. Just going
Yes.
back to your answering to your question is that a lady who's a good friend of ours, like I know her for the longest, wanted me to do a painting for her husband, like who had gone to Korea, and said like it's her birthday, I want to present the best gift I've had. So I asked her a lot of questions. I said like things which he says usually, and I try to embed those into my writing. So what I do is that I do a kind of an interview session with the husband and wife, try to get like things which are close to them, whether it's a city, whether it's a house, whether it's a favorite place they've used to visit together. They have some great kind of memories of them. And I try to put them together, but it should be in a very contemporary.
The contemporary creation, not just a portrait.
Because
Gotcha.
sure, like honestly, like the kind of artwork I do, it is called value added art. It's like my art will become more expensive as time goes, not like a beautiful piece I'm drawing.
Gotcha.
If you look at Hussein, it is beautiful because you understand art. If I show it to a person who has no clue, you're like, okay, whatever. Or if I show you a Picasso, you'll be like, what is this? Okay, my 4-year-old kid can do better. So that is different. But you have to develop a taste for it. And I'm sorry, I'm not including you at all. Like, and I'm sitting up here. So I believe like art is acquiring things. It's like it may not sound very right. It's like drinking wine.
Yeah.
So when I first give you I take or open a very nice Cabernet Sauvignon, I give it to you, you'll be like, what is this, man? This is horrible. Whereas I give you a nice rosé, like a $4 wine, and you'll be like, oh my God, this is lovely. Because you have not acquired the taste for it. To me, realism on that aspect has become like the rosé wine.
Okay.
So as you develop, you become the drier the wine is, the better it is.
Older the
age.
wine.
Let me ask you this.
Yes, sure, sir.
You have a lot of students that have gone under you. They have learned from you. Has the door opened wider for them to reach the highest height, or like compared to what you had when you were growing up?
It has. Right now there is so many avenues in art today. If you look at like social media itself, like people are using doing different kind of videos, because see, I try to nurture their creativity inside. So I don't expect them all to become artists, but something to do with creativity. Art is such a beautiful thing. It is like meditation. So it kind of soothes. It's like showers your mind. Just like we shower ourselves, I feel like art let them shower their mind. So it helps them with their education also. It allows them to focus better. It allows them to concentrate better. Their hand and eye coordination gets better. So I am allowing them to become better students. Plus, as a teacher, I teach them discipline, perseverance, which are the things. And going back to your question is that today's art, absolutely, when we were growing up, either artists didn't have any avenues at all. Today, like in the advertising world, in especially in social media, we are doing so many things related to art. Which is required, and then interior decoration, whether it's fashion designing. The art is the main thing. If you don't understand art, you cannot go anywhere with that.
So you're really allowing all these children or adults, whatever you call them, your students, to express actually what they want to feel and portray that, right? So I think you're helping them with that form of just expressing their thoughts.
Yes, I don't know. Shubodh knows very well. I've been teaching Saroj for 25 years, and Saroj, one of my mentors over the years. I love her to death. Today, Saroj, is getting older by and she has Parkinson's, and it's sad, but she still comes to my class as much as she can, and I'm just indebted to her that I could connect with her and make a little bit of a difference. Because and I can tell Subodh, I'm planning to do something to do with art therapy,
Okay.
and
Oh,
maybe
that's
in future
great.
I want to.
Oh, yeah.
I need your help with that a little bit,
Yes.
because I want to make a difference to people who have Alzheimer,
Right.
people who have Parkinson's,
Absolutely.
people who have, because I feel art can help them with their
Yes.
brain.
So
brain
I used to work for Child Protective Services and with the sexually abused children and their children, and one of the forms of therapy we used with them was art, and it was really great. The
Well, we
expression,
have-
what would come out.
And we've seen, animal therapy helps, so
Right.
art
I think
therapy,
art is a
music
great way
therapy,
to express.
aromatherapy. There are so many different
Right.
kinds of
That's great,
senses
though.
that therapy helps. Folks, you're listening to Open Forum. We have got exactly 5 minutes in this segment. I told Gopal, before you know, the segment gets over very quickly. I know he's a busy guy, but I'd like to ask a few things. Number one, when we physicians get together, we do get together. Yeah, someone may be a good physician here, a good physician. We all get together, share our thoughts, etc. Now we have very good artists in Sugarland. We have Geeta Prakash. You probably know her. You know Preet Monday.
Yeah.
She's also a teacher and she paints really well. Of course, we have Gopaal Seyn, and there are others. Do y'all get together and come up with ideas, share things, or are y'all staying in your own
Unfortunately
silos?
not. Unfortunately not. I know Geeta very well when I was involved with the Sugarland Art.
Right.
Preet also used to come and teach once
Right.
in a while. But I was teaching at the Sugarland Art for the longest time.
Okay.
And then I opened my own academy. That's when I moved.
Right.
So I hardly meet them
Y'all
now.
don't know, yeah.
But
No
I need
time.
to do more
Yeah.
and more of
I
that.
think that makes a lot of, it helps. Y'all get good ideas. Like you just had an idea. How can we do therapy for people who need some psychotherapy, art therapy, music therapy, aromatherapy? There's so many different types of senses that a human being can be, used for therapy, right?
Correct.
So and it comes as societies when you
Correct.
get together, same talent. How do we get the society to do even better?
Absolutely.
And if, just like Smriti asked in the beginning, we're going to end it with the same thing. If a student or a potential student, a parent wants to enroll their youngsters or themselves, do you have room? You've got already 250 students. Do you have room for new students?
Well, I have,
And if you
yeah.
do, how do they
How
approach
do they
you?
approach you, or what
So
is
the
the
best
number
way
they
to
can
is to
call?
reach me is my cell.
Mm-hmm.
Is 832-816-3383.
Fantastic.
And my website is www.redbluearts.com.
Yeah. You know what happened? Do you realize what happened in 1 hour? We forgot you to actually do a sketch.
I would love for him to show some of the
because the
paintings
time.
too.
Well, what happens is we'd like him to show.
Like
We
him
have
to
few,
show, yeah.
and
Can
then
you
just
show
tell us
some
what
of
they
them?
are. But
Love
I'll
to
have to get you back here. It's a great excuse to get you back with a good big easel and spend at least half an hour of your while we talk.
draw. I was thinking like.
I know. While we forgot.
Yeah.
While we talk, we
So
will
maybe
we'll
this
do another
way-
interview maybe in a few months. But tell us, go through some of your pictures here, and I think Miss Sen will help us focus. Put this thing down. Yeah. Can you see that pretty good? थोड़ा ऊपर करना पड़ेगा लगता है. Tell us what is this first one? I see a woman out there.
Yeah, so I did a woman, and then I wanted to scribble some, letters inside it, and
Yeah.
I have to look through it and tell you. I want to. Oh, wow.
Yeah, this will
So
actually
that
help
way
us. now.
it'll help us to show people.
So this is, I'll
It's beautiful.
yeah. Thank you so
Lovely.
much.
What have you used out here? Is it?
This is all pastels.
Uh-huh.
So charcoal and pastel. It's still like you will see colors
Yeah,
coming out.
yeah.
This is, as you can see, like a woman resting, and she's quiet, and
Yeah.
it's like a village girl with
Yeah.
her. You can see like pictures all around.
Oh, yeah.
But you see the hand is doing like that.
Yeah.
Whereas the onlookers are looking her in a different way.
Yes. So there is some
You see.
subtle, yeah.
Yeah. So all my art has a
Subtle
subtle.
message there, yeah. What's this one?
This is like a
Riding a horse. huh?
riding a horse, but it's like more like I came back from a rodeo and I kind of looked at this guy was trying to kind of so
Yeah, so you put it here. So, yeah.
so a lot of it comes from my my dreams when I wake up in the morning and something kind of going through and talk about dream. This is like a man and a woman sleeping with a fan on. So it's just like some scribble there.
Very nice. Very nice.
Very interesting colors too.
This is again a woman and a man, like, you know, as if like they're sitting in a boat. You can see the boat and there's a water, and they're looking at the kind of the sunset, and then the man is sitting, looks like, you know, they're just sailing through a
Yeah.
boat. And here I use like a lot of colors, like,
Yeah,
you know,
I see that.
as you can see, this is also very Husseinic, you would
It
say.
is,
like,
yeah.
It is. Yeah.
you know, and then again when I did it, I'm like, oh my god, this looks so Husseinic. But you know, it's
Don't
like
forget your
different color.
chappal somewhere, okay?
But I don't put any
I
chappals.
know, I
on it.
see that.
See. But he never drew feet.
No.
No.
Hussein never drew
Oh,
any
Yeah,
feet.
it's like big as the
Mine is
about.
it.
Yeah.
This is like a
baby?
a baby, like, you know, mom giving a shower,
Yeah,
and it's
that's
like
right.
the house chores going on, and
Yes.
the father trying to give him some shirt.
Oh, look at this one. This is nice. Colors are good.
So, you know, this is again like two euphoric dancer, ballerina,
Yes.
and there's somebody playing the drums.
So nice.
But you can see these are like lines fast. All of these are 7 to 8 minutes.
That's it.
I could have done it.
That's why we're going to bring you back. No, we got to bring you back and do justice to the.
And
this
have him
interview.
actually, you know,
Yeah.
that would be
This
great.
is like it's just like a horse and
Yes.
like a war. So, well, I think whenever you have to rap, like, tell me.
Yeah. We have about 60 seconds left.
Okay. So yeah, this is like this two sisters sitting out there, one reading a book, another one working on, you know, so we are showing that the younger one is good in studies, he's been made to go to school.
Yeah.
The other one said, nahi, tumhara shadi hone wala hai.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you're doing that.
Shadi ho rahi ho.
I love this. This is
That's nice interpretation. Oh, this is busy one.
Yeah.
Very busy.
Yeah. This one actually I did it for a Slumberjay, the CEO of Slumberjay. It's like her kind of the sketch
Yeah.
for that.
So what is the biggest
This is
one?
so interesting.
You've done the 18 by 6, but on these, how big can you make them? I mean, you make
This is the biggest size you can get, like sketch papers. You can get bigger sketch
also.
papers, but you know, in a book form, because I do it all the time, you know, it's easier for
to
me
do
to
it.
handle
This,
it.
this is the size.
yeah.
What size is this?
This is 18 by 24. You see, like different colors.
Red is everywhere.
Red is everywhere. Very good.
Okay.
Like again, red is one of my favorite colors. My mom used to always wear red. Going back to, so I guess
That is my
That's-
favorite
this is
color.
very nice.
Red is my favorite color.
She's
too.
crying also. I see
love
some
that.
tears out there.
so
But
it's
just
like
red is so vibrant.
it's like a mother, like, you know, thinking of her son
Mm-hmm.
who's gone traveling.
Look at this one. It's all red. Red and black. That's so vibrant.
Excellent. Folks, you're listening to Open Forum. We're going to wrap up this segment. It was such a pleasure, Gopal, that you came and we met. I know you didn't expect you didn't have any expectation. What were we going to do today? But you know what? आपने तो यार यहाँ लाइट भी लगा दी क्या? चार चांद जिसको कहते हैं ना, वो लगा दिया इधर. तो बहुत मजा आया.
Thank you so
And I want you to come back fantastically.
And truly inspirational.
We're going to
It's
bring
really
an
interesting.
easel out here.
And have him like pleasure me.
आप easel लेके आएंगे तो नहीं तो हम लेके आएंगे और आप अपना जो magic है वो लेके आना. And we'll be and I'm
Go to anytime.
I'm so happy that you talked about the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce of Greater Houston, because the next hour we're going to segue into the program that we call the Business Hour with IACCGH. We're going to take a short break and we're going to come right back with IACCGH.